Have you ever wondered why, even though you bathe every day, wear clean clothes, and keep yourself tidy, do you still feel like your body has a smell? It's not strong, it's not apparent, but it's enough to make people keep a bit of distance. And the most painful part is when the ones who step back are the ones you love most. Mrs. Caroline Miles, 71, is a very meticulous woman. She lives alone in a quiet suburb. Every morning, she wakes up early, cleans the house, takes a shower, and changes into fresh clothes. Her outfits are neatly folded, her shoes always in place, and her towels smell faintly of lavender. She's the type who keeps her home as if guests might arrive any moment. And yet, something made her sad. Whenever her daughter brought her grandchild over, the child was sweet and well-behaved. But as soon as Mrs. Miles picked the baby up, it would turn its head away. And one day, as she handed the baby back, her daughter gently whispered, "Mom, maybe don't hold her for too long. You have a bit of a body odor, probably from sweating more as you get older." Mrs. Miles stayed silent, not angry, not resentful, just sad and ashamed. Because deep down, she had felt it too, not because she didn't bathe, not because she was careless, but because she didn't understand why, despite all her efforts, the smell still lingered. Then one day, during a routine checkup, she met Dr. Lewis Harrington, a geriatric specialist with over 35 years of experience. She told him, softly, almost in a whisper, about the feeling of being pushed away by the scent of her own body. Dr. Harrington didn't laugh. He didn't offer a hollow reassurance. He smiled and said, "Mrs. Miles, this isn't your fault, and it's not age's fault either. It's simply the result of washing the wrong way." She looked surprised. "Washing the wrong way?" He nodded. "There are 5 areas on the body that most people clean, but not correctly, and those areas cause odor without us even realizing it." She asked, "So, what can I do?" And his answer began a journey, one that Mrs. Miles would later call 5 minutes a day to feel close, again to the ones I love. Sometimes it's the most minor things that can change how others see, smell, and feel around you. Maybe you're like Mrs. Miles. You're tidy, you're careful, but you still feel distant. You thought it was just aging, but maybe it's because you've been neglecting the 5 areas that matter most. In this video, I'll share with you the 5 most overlooked areas of the body in our daily hygiene routine. Even though we think we're doing everything right, each area comes with a story, a real person, a tiny mistake, and a life-changing improvement. I'm not telling you to take longer showers or buy expensive products. I want to invite you, for the next 15 minutes, to listen to these small, gentle truths. And who knows, you might discover a quiet kind of healing, starting from your own body. If you've ever felt like Mrs. Miles, clean, but still somehow distant, leave a comment saying, "Me too," under this video, so we know you're here with us. And if you'd like to continue this journey of gentle body renewal, please hit subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. We're always here, every week, so you never have to walk through aging alone. Chapter 1, the tongue. A silent breath everyone notices. There are things people never say out loud, but you can feel them. A slight step back, a glance, and then they look away. A subtle lean to the side when you begin to speak. Mrs. Florence Waters, 69, noticed these signs one October morning. She was chatting in the kitchen with her 15-year-old granddaughter, sharing stories about the chocolate cakes she used to bake. Suddenly, the girl took a small step back. She said nothing, just stood up to get a glass of water. It was just one small step. But to someone like Mrs. Florence, who spent 35 years as a teacher, watching every eye movement and every gesture, it was a clear message. And it wasn't the first time. She started noticing it more. Every time she spoke closely to someone, they gently turned away. Polite, subtle, but consistent. No one said a word, but a quiet fear began to grow inside her. Could it be that my breath smells? She checked her routine, brushed twice daily, rinsed with mouthwash, and flossed after dinner. So what was missing? That same week, as Mrs. Caroline, from the previous chapter, shared her story with Dr. Harrington, Mrs. Florence sat in the waiting room. And when she heard the phrase, improper tongue cleaning, her ears perked up. During her private consultation later that day, Dr. Harrington asked her just one question. Mrs. Florence, when did you last clean your tongue? She looked puzzled. I brush regularly, but I've never thought to do anything about my tongue. He smiled gently. We all think brushing is enough, but actually, the tongue is the dirtiest part of the mouth. She was a little shocked. Really? Dr. Harrington nodded. Over 700 types of bacteria live on the tongue, including tiny food particles, dead cells, and mucus. Over time, they form a thin film, not harmful looking, but it's the leading cause of bad breath, reduced taste, and even deeper issues like heart, lung, and immune problems in older adults. She began to recall. Her morning coffee didn't taste as rich anymore. Her apple pie seemed a little bland. She thought it was aging. But in truth, her sense of taste hadn't disappeared. It was being blocked by a film of bacteria covering her taste buds. Is there any way to fix this, doctor? She asked, hopeful. Just 30 seconds every morning, he replied. All it takes is a tongue scraper. Gently scrape from the back of the tongue to the front. No pressure, no fancy tools, but the results are incredible. He showed her how. After brushing your teeth in the morning, use a scraper to gently pull forward from the back of your tongue, 3 to 4 times, then rinse with warm water. Repeat the process gently at night since your tongue has been active all day. Avoid sharp tools. Don't be rough. The tongue is soft tissue. What matters is consistency. Mrs. Florence gave it a try. The first day felt a little strange, ticklish. But after just 3 days, she noticed something remarkable. The odor was gone. Her granddaughter talked with her longer. Her morning coffee, rich again, just like old times. She exclaimed, I didn't lose my sense of taste. I just had dust on it. Scientifically, Dr. Harrington explained it like this. When bacteria build up on the tongue, it does more than cause bad breath. It can enter the bloodstream through tiny gum inflammations, affecting your heart and lungs, and even raising the risk of diabetes complications in older adults. Cleaning the tongue properly each day can reduce inflammation, improve your sense of taste, increase how well your medications work, lighten the load on your immune system. This isn't just about fresh breath. This is about full body health. 3 weeks later, Mrs. Florence returned for a follow-up. She walked in with a bright smile, not just because the odor was gone, but because the shame was gone too. Thank you, doctor, she said. Now I can speak without fear. Dr. Harrington smiled. Sometimes the things that create distance between us and others aren't age, the little things we've never paid attention to. And if you're still watching this, if you've ever felt like Mrs. Florence, a bit self-conscious when someone steps back as you speak, please know that you are not alone, and you can make a change with just one new habit. cleaning your tongue every morning. Try using a scraper, gently and consistently. And in just a few days, you might notice your food tastes clearer, your breath feels lighter, and your conversations feel closer. If you've already tried using a scraper, or if this is your first time hearing about it, leave a comment below saying yes or not yet, so I know where you are on this journey. And if you'd like more simple, effective, and practical tips like this, please hit subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. We're here every week to help you gently reconnect with your body and the people you love. Chapter 2. Feet. Don't let your steps be held back by odor or fungus. There's a feeling Mr. Harold Beckett will never forget. One crisp autumn afternoon last year, while walking in his backyard garden, he suddenly felt a prickling sensation on the soles of his feet. Not pain, just an itch. But it crept between his toes, spreading until he had to stop, remove his shoes, and scratch on the patio. Mr. Harold has always been a careful man. After a lifetime working in accounting, precision and order came naturally to him, and he treated his body the same way. Every morning, he bathed thoroughly, put on clean socks, and slipped into polished leather shoes. He even dusted some foot powder into his shoes to keep the air flowing, as he liked to tell his grandkids. And yet, the itching kept returning. At first, it was just a nuisance, but soon it became persistent. After a few weeks, he noticed redness between his toes, sometimes peeling, and a strange, sour odor whenever he took off his shoes. He started avoiding family gatherings where people sat on the floor. He turned down walks with his grandson saying, "I've got something to finish." But the truth was, he was afraid to take off his shoes. When he finally visited Dr. Harrington, he sounded hesitant. "I don't think it's anything serious, just a bit of itching," he said with slight embarrassment. Because of the foot itch, it seemed too small to matter. Dr. Harrington didn't laugh. He gently examined Harold's feet and nodded. "This is an early sign of athlete's foot. It's not serious now, but if left untreated, it can lead to infection, affect your balance, and in people over 70, that can become a real safety concern." At the word balance, Mr. Harold froze. A year ago, he had nearly slipped in the bathroom. He'd blamed it on a wet floor. But now, he wondered, was it his feet sending signals he hadn't listened to? Dr. Harrington continued. "The skin between the toes is one of the dampest places on the body, especially when wearing shoes all day. If we don't wash thoroughly, and more importantly, if we don't dry carefully, that moisture becomes the perfect home for bacteria, fungus, and odor." Mr. Harold sighed. "I thought washing every day was enough. And that's what many older adults believe, that a quick rinse and some soap is all it takes. But as Dr. Harrington put it, washing without drying is like doing laundry and leaving your clothes in a dark, damp corner. The cleaner it is, the faster it molds if it stays wet." From that day on, Mr. Harold began a new routine. A routine of caring for his feet as if they were the foundation of his life. He placed a small basin of warm water next to his recliner every evening. He soaked his feet for 10 minutes, listening to light jazz like he used to do after work. Then, he used a soft towel to dry each toe gently, one by one. No rush, no corners were skipped. He said, "It's like polishing a pair of fine glasses, not because they're expensive, but because they help you see the world." He didn't reuse towels. A clean one was washed separately and dried thoroughly in the sun each time. He also switched to breathable cotton socks, which were washed separately from other clothes, and, most importantly, he let each pair of shoes rest for 24 hours before wearing them again. "Shoes need to breathe too," he joked to his grandson with a smile. After 3 weeks, the itching stopped. The redness faded. His skin felt smoother. But what surprised him most was that his steps felt steadier. Not because he walked more, but because he wasn't afraid anymore. When your feet itch, ache, or smell, you naturally pull back. You move slower. You decline invitations. You retreat. No one tells you to. But your body quietly withdraws. When Mr. Harold felt his feet were clean, comfortable, and odor-free, he wanted to go outside again. He invited old friends for walks. He took his grandson to the park, sat cross-legged on the picnic mat, and slipped off his shoes without hesitation. And when a 74-year-old man can sit playing checkers with his grandson without worrying about foot odor, that's not hygiene, that's a connection. Dr. Harrington once said, "Confidence doesn't come from fine clothes or compliments. It comes from those small, hidden places. When cared for properly, that makes you feel ready to step forward again." From a health perspective, washing and caring for your feet properly can bring far more benefits than you'd expect. Removes bacteria and dead skin, reduces risk of fungal infections, skin inflammation, and wounds, improves balance by easing foot pain, boosts blood circulation in the feet, increases foot sensitivity, helping with quicker reactions while walking or standing, which reduces the risk of falling. And all of this starts with a warm water basin and a clean towel. If you're still watching and thinking, "I've had itchy feet too, even though I wash every day," then maybe you've been skipping the most critical step, drying thoroughly. If you've ever taken off your shoes and noticed an unpleasant smell, you are not alone. And if you've ever slipped or hesitated while walking, ask yourself, could it be because of moisture trapped between your toes every day? We care for our hair, our skin, our teeth. But the feet that carry our entire body, they're often overlooked. So today, give your feet a little kindness. Wash with warm water. Dry each toe. Use a little lotion if your skin is dry. And the next time you lace up your shoes, you may walk out into the world feeling lighter and more grounded. If you've ever dealt with itchy or smelly feet despite regular washing, leave a comment saying "feet." I'll read every word, and who knows, you might discover you're not alone after all. And if this message helped you realize something new, click subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. We'll be here every week to share small habits that gently support a healthier, more confident life. Chapter 3: Underarms. The area often blamed for old people's smell. There were times when Mrs. Marjorie Dean felt invisible in a crowded room, not because of her age, not because anyone ignored her, but because she was trying to shrink into herself. Sit still, keep her arms down, no reaching high, no hugging her grandkids. She feared the moment she lifted her arms would reveal something that embarrassed her more than anything: body odor under her arms. She wasn't careless about hygiene, quite the opposite. Mrs. Marjorie took great care of herself. She showered daily. She used a 24-hour extra-dry antiperspirant. She wore long-sleeve tops, even on warm days. But no matter what she did, she couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't quite right under her arms. Sometimes there was a mild itch, sometimes a stinging sensation, and sometimes she noticed faint yellow stains on her bras, clear signs that her body was trying to say something. During a routine checkup, Dr. Harrington asked her a simple question: Have you ever felt any itching or discomfort in your underarm area? She smiled awkwardly. Well, yes, but I assumed it was age, or maybe a reaction to my deodorant. He nodded. Many people think that, but the truth is that the underarm is a very special body part, not just because it sweats, but because it's a key center of your lymphatic system. In other words, it's like the body's garbage filter. She raised her eyebrows. Garbage filter. That's right, he explained. Just beneath our armpits are central lymph nodes. They help the body flush out toxins, bacteria, and waste from the bloodstream. But the body's ability to filter slows down when this area is blocked by sweat, bacteria, or leftover deodorant. And in response, it sends signals: itching, rashes, pungent odor. She paused. It felt like someone had just spotlighted a quiet suspicion she'd carried for years, but never had a name for. So, do I need to change something? She asked. Just simplify, he said. No fancy products, just the right care. He guided her through a small but effective routine. While showering, use a soft washcloth or sponge with warm water. Gently clean the underarms in circular motions. Don't scrub harshly. Rinse thoroughly to remove all soap and deodorant residue. After the shower, pat the area dry with a clean towel. Don't leave it damp, and don't reuse old towels. Wait a few minutes for the skin to fully dry before applying deodorant, ideally one free of alcohol and strong fragrances. Dr. Harrington added, the underarm is delicate skin. If you treat it like sensitive skin, like the area around your eyes, you'll notice a real difference. That evening, Mrs. Marjorie went home and followed the routine. At first, she was skeptical. It all sounded too simple. But she gave it an honest try. 3 minutes in the morning and 3 minutes at night, just for her underarms. Within a week, the itching disappeared. The yellow stains faded. That strong midday odor, gone. And something even more unexpected happened. She felt lighter. No more keeping her arm close in public. No more avoiding hugs from her grandkids. No more scanning the room, wondering, am I bothering someone? All because of a patch of skin no bigger than a hand. Yet it held the power to restore her confidence and closeness at age 66. You see, we often turn to perfumes, strong deodorants, or thick clothing to mask body odor. But we forget that odor shouldn't be covered, but addressed at the source. Your underarms are nothing to be ashamed of. They are a natural detox window. And when you care for them gently and properly, your whole body becomes cleaner, calmer, and healthier from the inside out. If you've ever experienced itching or discomfort under your arms after using deodorant, or if you feel uneasy every time you lift your arms, leave a comment below with yes or not yet. We're always here to listen. And if you want to keep receiving simple, honest advice, the kind that touches the quiet parts of life we all feel but rarely talk about, click subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. Because of stories like Mrs. Marjorie's, it is your story too, and we'd love to walk through it with you. One gentle step at a time. Chapter 4. The Nose. Deep breaths for better sleep. Mr. Terence Lyon is now 70, a quiet man, calm and steady, yet full of quiet strength. He spent his whole life as a carpenter. Years of breathing in sawdust, varnish fumes, and the rasp of sawing wood had become part of his body, memories etched into every breath. Now retired, he spends time tending to his garden, listening to classical music, and occasionally fixing little things for neighbors. And yet, over the past year, something changed. He began struggling with sleep. Not insomnia exactly. but each night he found himself tossing and turning. Sometimes his breathing felt shallow, sometimes it's completely blocked. He'd shift from side to side, add pillows, raise a leg, lower an arm, but nothing helped. Some nights he got up 3 times to sit and breathe properly. At first he thought, maybe it's just age. And who could blame him? At 70, a few health annoyances are expected. He tried warm milk, light reading, less screen time, but nothing improved. Then, one day, during a routine checkup, Dr. Harrington asked, "Do you have trouble sleeping because of nasal congestion or shallow breathing?" Mr. Terrence looked surprised. "How did you know?" "Because that's one of the most common reasons older adults sleep poorly," the doctor said. "And it's also one of the most overlooked, your nose." Mr. Terrence shook his head. "I never thought the nose could affect sleep." The doctor smiled. "Your nose is the first filter for air before it reaches your lungs. If it's blocked or dirty, oxygen doesn't flow in properly. And your body wakes up, again and again, trying to adjust. That leads to light sleep, fatigue, even morning dizziness, or headaches." Then Dr. Harrington said something Mr. Terrence would never forget. "Your nose is like the filter in an air conditioner. If you don't clean it regularly, dust builds up. And just like dust spreads through the house, bacteria spread through your lungs, and eventually, your bloodstream." That sent a chill down Mr. Terrence's spine. He had spent his life maintaining machines, yet he had never once cleaned his body's most vital living filter. That night he began trying what the doctor suggested. In the morning, after waking up, he gently rinsed each nostril with saline solution. He waited a few seconds, then blew his nose lightly. Before bed, he sat before a bowl of hot water, draped a towel over his head, and added a few drops of peppermint oil. The rising steam gently opened his sinuses and cooled the inside of his head. On dry days, he used a clean cotton swab, dipped in a tiny bit of coconut oil, and lightly coated the inside of his nostrils. Not much, just a thin layer. As the doctor said, your nose doesn't need to be slick, just moist enough to breathe gently. The results came slowly, but they lasted. After a few days, Mr. Terrence began sleeping through the night. No more tossing, no more sitting up for air, just restful, uninterrupted sleep. The biggest difference? Mornings. Before, he'd wake up with a heavy head, dry throat, and burning eyes. Now, everything felt clearer, lighter. He walked into his garden with a new energy, a feeling he thought he'd lost at 70. The human body, at any age, is a wonder. And the nose, with its simple structure but irreplaceable role, it is where the entire cycle of life begins. Cleaning your nose doesn't require fancy tools, just saline solution, a towel, some essential oil, and a few quiet daily minutes. Since sleeping better, Mr. Terrence says he feels brighter, more patient, and more joyful. No more snapping, no more forgetfulness, and best of all, he enjoys being around people again. You know, sometimes what we call grumpiness or sadness in older age. It doesn't come from personality, it comes from a body that's not breathing enough. So, if you've ever struggled with shallow sleep, morning stuffiness, or want to breathe easier, try giving that small but powerful body part a little daily care. How do you clean your nose each day? Leave just one word in the comments. Spray, steam, dry, and if this story touched something you're going through, please hit subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. Every week, we'll send you something kind, a simple habit to help you breathe a little easier and live a little sweeter. Chapter 5. The Belly Button. A tiny spot with a strange, hard-to-explain smell. Mrs. Hattie Schultz is not someone easily bothered by small things. At 72, she's still the backbone of a three-generation household. The one who notices what others overlook. Everyone calls the one who cooks the vegetable soup healing in a bowl. Lately, however, something had quietly annoyed her, though she couldn't quite explain why. It started with a slight itch below her belly. She thought it was from tight clothes, so she switched to loose cotton. No change. She tried a different soap, but there was still no difference. Then, one evening, while watching TV, she absent-mindedly scratched near her belly button and suddenly noticed a faint smell. Not strong, not sharp, just warm, odd, and quietly uncomfortable. It happened again and again. When bending to fold laundry or wiping the floor, that faint scent would sneak up. One day she sighed and told her husband, "I don't know what it is lately. I feel like my body has a strange smell." He just chuckled. "You're being too picky again." But she knew. Her body was trying to tell her something. During a regular wellness consultation, Dr. Harrington gently asked, "Do you ever feel itchiness in one particular area?" She mentioned the strange sensation around her stomach. He nodded, scrutinized the area, then asked a question that made her pause. "When was the last time you cleaned your belly button?" She blinked. "I shower every day." "Yes," he said, "but have you ever gently cleaned inside it with a clean cloth or cotton swab and checked for odor buildup?" For the first time in years, she realized she had never thought of her navel as a place that needed special care. Dr. Harrington continued gently. "The belly button is like the hollow of your hand, a little hidden pocket, away from light and air. It easily collects dust, dead skin, sweat, and leftover soap. It becomes a perfect home for bacteria and fungus if never cleaned or properly dried. That's what causes the persistent itching and hard-to-name odor." Mrs. Hattie slowly nodded. It felt like someone had just turned on the lights in a room she hadn't entered in years. That night, for the first time in decades, she cared for her belly button. She took a clean washcloth, soaked it in warm water, and gently wiped the lower belly area. Then, using a fresh cotton swab dipped in warm water, she slowly swirled it inside her navel. Not too deep, not harsh, just a light circular motion, like the way she cleaned her eyeglasses each morning. She was surprised to see the swab tip darken. Dust and natural oils had built up over time. She followed up with a dry swab to gently absorb the moisture. And every 2 to 3 days, she repeated the process. Nothing fancy, no expensive products, just a bit of attention. After 1 week, the itch disappeared. The odd, warm smell was gone. But more than anything, she felt in control again over something she thought was nothing. Such a small area. And yet, it gave her back a sense of comfort in her skin. Dr. Harrington once said, "We spend so much time caring for the parts of ourselves everyone sees, our face, hair, nails. But the belly button, a spot no one looks at, can quietly shape how we feel about ourselves. Medically speaking, the navel is a recessed area with folds that easily trap moisture after bathing. Tiny fabric fibers, sweat, and dead skin can build up, often invisible to the eye. And if it stays damp, bacteria can grow, leading to mild odors or even minor infections. But with a soft cloth, a cotton swab, and 3 minutes every few days, you can prevent all of that. If you've made it this far, ask yourself, have you ever really cleaned your belly button? Not just rinsed it in the shower. but given it the same gentle care you'd give your face? If your answer is not yet, don't feel bad. Most of us forget this little spot. But the good news is, you can start today. If you've done this before, or if you're surprised to even hear about it, leave a comment saying yes or no below. I'll read each reply, because your story might help someone else recognize a piece of their own. And if this simple insight touched something you've been wondering about, please click subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. Because sometimes the most minor things, once we pause and truly listen, it turns out to matter more than we ever imagined. We'll keep sharing those small things with you every week, with kindness, with care, and always with love. Final chapter. Every shower is an act of self-kindness. Each of us walks a different path as we grow older. Some move a little slower, some tread more carefully. But deep down, we all long for the same things: to feel close to the ones we love, to hold on to a bit of confidence, a little comfort, a little piece of ourselves. In a world that's changing every day, if you've walked with me through this journey, you might agree. Health doesn't always come from a pill or a machine. Often, it begins when we come back to ourselves and care for the most minor things in our bodies. Remember Mrs. Caroline? She bathed every day, kept everything neat. Yet her daughter gently said, "Mom, there's a little odor." She didn't get angry. She just felt sad. But from that sadness, she began her journey. 5 minutes a day to feel closer to the ones I love. Then there was Mrs. Florence, who avoided long conversations with her granddaughter for fear of bad breath. She had no idea that the problem wasn't her brushing. It was her tongue, quietly neglected. But when she started using a scraper each morning, she didn't just regain a clean breath. She rediscovered the sweetness in her favorite cup of coffee. Mr. Harold was different, careful, precise. But by skipping one small step, drying between his toes, he nearly let a foot infection take away his balance and confidence in every step. When he began caring for his feet the right way, he was ready again. To step outside, to kneel beside his grandson, and to play without hesitation. Mrs. Marjorie carried a quieter burden. She was afraid to lift her arms, not because they were weak, but the underarm odor left her feeling ashamed. After learning how to cleanse gently and let her skin breathe before applying deodorant, she didn't just stop the itching, she forgave herself for unintentionally neglecting a part of her body for years. And Mr. Terrence, he thought poor sleep came with old age. But honestly, he just needed to learn how to clear his nose, to rinse with saline, breathe in warm steam, and keep his sinuses gently moisturized with coconut oil. The result? Restful, dreamless sleep. And mornings full of energy he thought were gone forever. Finally, there was Mrs. Hattie. Bothered by an itch near her belly, she couldn't explain. Until she took a warm cloth, cleaned around her navel, and gently used a cotton swab inside. What she found was relief. Quiet, subtle, but deep enough to make her feel clean from the inside out. 5 people, 5 stories, 5 small areas of the body. All are leading to one simple truth. Every shower is a chance to love your body just a little more. Maybe until now, you've seen body odor as something to hide. But odor is not a fault. Odor is a signal. A soft but clear message. Your body is asking to be cared for. No one ever taught us how to care for our belly button. No one told us our underarms needed to breathe. No one said that bad breath might not come from your teeth, but from a forgotten tongue. But now, you've heard, you know, you understand. And now, you can begin. You don't need to change your whole life. Just spend a few minutes each day caring for one part of your body the right way, with presence, with love. Because in the end, living well isn't about living long. It's about this. When you're with your grandkids, you're not worried about how you smell. When you stand in front of the mirror, you smile and say, "I'm taking care of myself." And if that feels true for you, then I'm glad we met. I'm glad you listened. I'm glad you're ready to begin. So now, tell me, which part of your body will you start with after this video? Comment below with one word. Tongue, feet, underarms, nose, navel. And if this video helped you in any way, please like it, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to Graceful Aging Co. Every week, we'll bring you something small, something simple, but powerful enough to help you live closer to your loved ones and closer to yourself.